Hello, this is Yusuf Afifi, and today I'll be providing a breakdown and critique of the podcast of my choice, which was an episode under the Masters of Scale podcast hosted by Reid Hoffman titled uh, Rapid Response. My apologies, Rapid Response How Chief Became a Phenomenon. The guest was the CEO of Chief, Carolyn Childers, and the interview lasted about 30 minutes or so. As you may know, Chief is a networking platform slash service that gives women in corporate America the opportunity to get together collectively in the same geographical region, and coalesce with one another, cultivate relationships, and synergize to see what fruit that could bear. As Carolyn did a good job of highlighting in the interview, men have had, opportunities in spaces like this for thousands of years, in the form of yacht clubs and cigar socials and cafes and what have you. But women have been lacking this medium to network with one another. And so it came as no surprise to me to hear Carolyn say that after piloting the program with a simple cohort of 200 corporate America women who were vetted by the company, the demand quickly exploded across the country and across the world for the service. And they worked to meet that demand, at least nationally, by signing several leases across different cities in the country to open networking spaces until COVID threw a wrench in those plans, or could have thrown a proverbial wrench in those plans. But Carolyn mentioned, and I think this is a testament to hers as well as the resiliency of the entire company, that they managed to turn that seeming negative into a resounding positive because of the automative opportunities that COVID presented. They were able to vet and sign up, uh, a multitudinal amount of subscribers that they otherwise would not have been able to reach if they were just doing the basic analog model. And that was a great touchstone in the interview as well. She did mention that it was notoriously difficult for women in the startup space to amass any sort of substantial series funding for their endeavors, but she was a trailblazer enough to be able to actually amass in excess of $100 million in Series A funding, which is even more admirable, to help build out those spaces in the company infrastructure to meet the demand that came about. After that, the interview took a turn towards the highlighting of the social movements and corporate America's role in championing social movements and whatnot. And I think she did a very she made a very poignant statement, which I think is very resounding as well, where she talked about the practitioners of society, the people themselves, needing to be the ones who championed social causes at the forefront, way more so than corporate entities. And that there was a shift, an unfortunate shift, where today you find a lot more corporations leading charges, or seemingly leading charges, right? Their intentions aren't always sincere, and it's not always through a sincere lens, than the citizens themselves. And she mentioned that there are a lot of women from a lot of diverse backgrounds who are subscribers to Chief. And so they do try to strike a balance between championing obviously righteous causes, but also kind of straying away from taking taking hard stands on causes that otherwise may be a little bit more controversial. And so that's kind of the summary of the interview. Overall, I found it very intriguing. I personally was not aware of Chief prior to this, but now I definitely am. And it was a very great, it was a very pleasant expenditure of 30 minutes of my time. Thank you.